It's Lisa from Been There, Got Out. Of course, I'm getting a phone call. And this was a semi-planned Instagram Live with our friend Modupe Ladipo from the UK. I usually announce these things ahead of time, but I wasn't positive that he was going to be able to come on. So I didn't make a formal announcement. Let me just, there he is. Okay, Modupe is here. I'm inviting you, and hopefully my phone will stop ringing, and hopefully you guys can hear it ringing. It's really annoying. My friend called me 4 times in a row.
Hi, Lisa.
Can you hear me?
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Good
Good.
to see you.
Too. It's just been like 5 minutes.
I know, right? Literally just
literally.
On the Renewed Minds.
Yes. We just actually did an interview. Modupe interviewed Chris and I because the last time we had been together was like 2 years ago.
2 years
when we
ago.
were nothing.
Wow. How time flies.
And you know, we were talking about in the bedroom with the narcissist, which is really different from what we talked about.
Yeah.
last
I know, right?
interview.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, and there's gonna be episodes on that in future, so you stay tuned.
Yeah.
Specifically on that.
I know.
Yeah, no.
So I don't even remember how we met, but we met a while ago, and we may even have the opportunity to meet in May live in Manhattan when our book launch is happening. I'm really excited. But we're not going to talk about me, and we're not going to talk about Been There, Got Out. We're going to talk about you, Modupe. So why don't you tell us about what you're doing and what is Renewed Minds?
Yes, so thanks so much, Lisa, for, first of all, inviting me onto your platform to have this opportunity. It's an honor, and I'm so proud of what you guys are doing as well. And so Renewed Minds is basically a platform for people that have been suffering from narcissistic abuse, and that can be in intimate relationships or possibly even co-workers, because this is an abuse that it's not specific to any kind of a situation. It can even be in your family. It can be, workplaces, even possibly religious circles as well. I've done interviews with people that have had, very difficult situations like that. So it really is about just, recognizing the abuse. I developed a passion to get people educated on what narcissistic abuse is, because there's so much of a misconception on what it is, and people just over exaggerate what it actually is. Maybe taking selfies means you're a narcissist, and it really is much a deeper, more profound and dangerous epidemic in terms of like kinds of mental abuse. So I have a passion for making people be aware of that, and also finding ways that they can heal from it. And, on my YouTube platform, I'll be releasing a lot of more educated videos on it. I've done interviews like we met as well in the past when I interviewed you. So I interview because I believe one of the most powerful ways is storytelling, and, people telling their experiences and being able to relate. I really believe that's the best way to teach people. And in some instances you might not even be aware that you've been through narcissistic abuse, and when you come to the channel you find education, and you find ways that you can also navigate through that. It really is an essential thing to know, and the better even at a younger age, for the next generation, the better is gonna help them in their emotional control, in the workplace, and just recognizing these little tactics. So that's basically what I do, and launching possible programs on it in future as well.
So Modupe, you do, it sounds like you do a lot of what we do, where you interview other people to talk about their own experience with it.
Yeah, correct. And there've been people that I've interviewed that had such powerful stories, and it's been incredible. I had a guy that was in a 25-year marriage, and his story was just so unique. I knew it was going to be powerful, but we just never knew it was going to be on that scale. And until today, we still collaborate. And one of the most beautiful things about, you know, starting these platforms and that is meeting people like you and starting genuine relationships that's going to, you know, stand the test of time. And one of the things that touched me about his story was he was a pastor as well, and in America as well, 25-year marriage. And, you know, he went for therapy with it, he did everything. And it just came to a realization for him that he said, it's either I stay and die, or because obviously as a Christian as he was, it's against his like beliefs to divorce, but it just realized in some situations that you have to do that. A very powerful interview, and, you know, it's still, you know, touching different people's lives, but not just males, as we said before, on my platform before, like it's men, it's women, you know, that are going through these abuses. And I'm always talking to different kinds of people that are going through this abuse. And I just get to see that it is not specific to a certain age group, a certain gender group, a certain race. It happens to and sometimes I think like, well, I mean, I think when I'm talking to people much older than me, like maybe in their 50s, their 60s, like, but they have more life experience than me. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not about that. It's about, you know, recognizing that particular abuse. So it's not specific to any age, and nobody should feel like, oh, because they're older, they should know this. And I just feel blessed, like, to have been able to, like, also touch a lot of people's lives already. And we've not even started yet. So it's very exciting times for Renewed Minds, definitely.
Yeah, and I love that you talked about how abuse is a human issue, because obviously that's how we feel. But I just remembered how we met, actually. So I think it was through Male Victims of Female Narcissists. You had done an interview with John.
John. So it was John.
And I'm going to do something with him finally, I think in the next couple months.
Oh, but, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. He's a good friend of mine now. Yeah. John is a great guy.
So I was thinking that people often refer to abusers as men. You see that all the time. How do you feel being a male survivor yourself when you always hear men are the abusers?
Yeah. I think it can be more difficult for men, especially like in this day and age with, you know, like I think I made a joke once to someone that, you know, when you have all these kind of movements going on, like Me Too movement, or, well, what about the Me Three movement, you know, like for men, but men do get abused as well. And, you know, society is shaped in such a way that it's not so easy for men to come forward. And then also like the ego as well. Like, you're a guy, you know, come on, suck it up. You should be stronger than that. But I mean, I remember doing a trailer once on like some statistics on the amount of men that commit suicide. Men go through a lot. Men go through a lot, like, especially when you put that on top with the abuse, it can be mentally draining. Like the suicide rates for certain men going through this sort of abuse. And, you know, it can be difficult in certain situations. Like, I've had conversations with John in some instances whereby, you know, you call the police that you're getting abused by your wife. They're just going to laugh at you, not take you serious. Do you know what I mean? So, like, where do you start with things like that? So I believe what even John's doing is very unique. I even just, which I'm sure he asked me about, is started a program. And I originally wanted to cater to men, but I just found that I was getting both genders, and I just thought, well, why not? You know, maybe that's my calling. Maybe John's is just males and I can cater to both. So it just goes to show that abuse it's not specific to any particular person, but it's anyone, and it's any age group. And, you know, we got to help these people to get through this form of abuse so that they can not just heal these, but also thrive and have a life after it at the end of the process. Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks for being a role model with that. And all your positive energy and huge smile, like, you got through it.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I mean, you know, got to become as bold as a lion. Yeah. But, So, but yeah, with the program content, like part of the things, not just with the YouTube channel, like I got inspired to help even more people and launching some programs on healing and thriving. And it's just basically, it's like an 8-week program where, you know, we look at the individual, what they're going through, how like they can start self-loving themselves again. And it's split into weeks where it's like you deal with healthy conflict, how you can build your intuition, trust in that. And then in some weeks as well, co-parenting. And if people want perhaps some more specialized divorce conflict resolution, that's where I can, like, you know, refer people to been their guard, because at the end of the day, this is all a teamwork. Like I said before, Lisa, it's all about, you know, being a community, trying to help people going through this form of abuse to see how we can help them and look towards the future as well. Yeah.
Right, and make them realize that they're not the only one at all. I mean,
Exactly.
I can't count how many times I'll put out content, even just yesterday, and someone's like, wow, I thought that it was just me. Never.
Yeah.
It's never
Yeah.
just you, but it just
Yeah.
feels so isolating. And coming out of one of these relationships, you realize that that was your ex's goal, was to make you feel like it is you and everything is your fault.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like, you know, just realizing, like, even the term of gaslighting and stuff, and for people to honestly know that they're being gaslighted and recognizing that and recognizing that they're not the problem, because that can seriously, like, make someone even go crazy and think, like, start to doubt themselves. And that's essentially what the narcissist wants to do. And, you know, that's what, like, you know, watching all this educative content is going to, like, really help people to, you know, navigate through this form of narcissistic abuse. And, you know, the program, like, different things like just getting your self-esteem back, and also being able to thrive professionally afterwards, because at the end of the day, we all have a life as well outside relationship. And, you know, if you're not okay in your spirit and everything, it's just going to affect other aspects of your life, and it can affect your professional life as well. So that's why that program is also not just about healing, but thriving after that process. And with obviously my expertise as well as a chartered marketing professional, I try to help people also with, whether it's in their business or in their workplace, to ensure that they're, after they've healed and become the best versions of themselves, courage to go after what their actual ambitions and goals are in life. Because you should always have that, whether you're in a relationship or not. That should never die. So I focus on them getting that strength back to be able to become who they want in life. Because at the end of the day, one of the guys I talked to in one of the sessions, that really stuck with me, one of the quotes that stuck with me was, you know, healing is not about moving on. Healing is about moving forward, because you can't like just delete the memories. It's part of your journey. It's part of your story. Why not embrace it to make you an even stronger being? And that's why, you know, I you know, find it on the boldness of a lion. You will become as bold as a lion or a lioness at the end of the day. And, you know, it's just finding, and then also thriving. It's about surrounding yourself with successful people. So it's basically going to be a healing and thriving program that's will be on the Renewed Minds platform. Yeah.
Awesome. So how can people find you? I thought of a couple of things to say, but I'm like, I'm not interrupting that finale that you just did.
Yeah.
No. How can people find you, Modupe?
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me on at the Renewed Minds on Instagram. You can also find me on my personal Instagram profile at Ladipo, Ladipo. I know that might be a struggle sometimes to spell, but yeah, you can find me on there. And then you can also find me on my YouTube channel, where I release content out. That's at Renewed Minds, because YouTube you can put at to easily find now. And on Facebook as well, Renewed Minds 2020. There was actually a specific reason why I used that that handle, Renewed Minds 2020. There's actually a story to it. So at the time of COVID, I'm sure everyone remembers the pandemic in 2020. I believe that was a year of a lot of spiritual awakening for people. And the end of that year was the year of the Great Conjunction as well. So I believe, honestly, that would have been a wasted year for people not to get spiritually awakened. And I always wanted to know and remember that Renewed Mind started in 2020. And 2020 is for perfect vision. So I just connected it with perfect spiritual vision, which is what I want people to have so they can achieve whatever they want in their dreams in life. So yeah, that's how you can reach me on those main platforms. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm like, I can feel your energy and with that radiant smile.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
lighting
much.
up our feed.
Yeah. Thank you. You're
And
welcome. You're welcome.
and hopefully I'll post the video and I'll put Renewed Minds and Ladipo so everyone can find
Yeah.
you more easily
Brilliant.
and not figure out how to spell it themselves. And then
Yeah.
hopefully we can meet you in May in person, maybe in New York.
Yeah, definitely. I'll look forward to that, and I'll definitely let you know what my plans are. But yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic to meet you and Chris in person. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Us too.
Thanks so much,
Okay.
Lisa.
You're welcome. We'll
I
talk
really
soon.
appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll talk soon. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.